This video is only one part of an in-depth review, so check out the rest at thegoodride.com. Thanks for watching.
Hey, welcome to The Good Ride. My name's Clint, and this is James. We're going to talk about the Cardiff Swell.
What conditions did you get this in?
Got it in some really firm, spring-like conditions, hard groomers, pretty rough off-piste. My boots that I was wearing were K2 Aspects. The bindings I had on were Prime Karakorum's Carbon Edition.
And I rode it with my Burton Tourist and my Union Expedition. And I got it in some pretty firm but fair early morning conditions. Spring just stampeded into us. I thought it was premature springulation, but it actually just was spring.
Oh yeah.
And that was all we had in the time that we were given.
Yeah.
But that's that. And what would you say for a quick summary for this thing?
And I am definitely someone who likes to do a lot of touring in the spring. That's a great time to go out and get further into the mountains. This board did a phenomenal job on that hard packed terrain. The going up was very pleasant. The going down, even more pleasant. Carved well, even on that firmer stuff, could hold an edge really well. And then at the end of the day, got out on some soft stuff, and it was just really, it felt fun and playful. Exactly what you're looking for in conditions like we had today. And we'd love to see it one day in some good snow and some deep powder as well.
Yeah, and I would say get this if you want a little more technical and a little more turny version of a board than the Pagoda.
Yeah.
And a little more centered, and I think a little more technical, steep terrain friendly.
That camber is going to really help with that steeper terrain, slightly different construction than the Pagoda, with that taper and that stiff camber. Does really well on steep terrain.
So let's talk about the construction of the Splitboard here. What'd you think?
You've got, as far as your components here, you've got some Volley power clips. Very easy to take apart. It was easy to assemble. Some of the easier put together split boards by Cardiff that I would say other split board companies have struggled with in the past, and that is just getting this to stay flush. And some of these split boards, we've definitely seen some issues with that, but Cardiff seems to have it dialed in that sense.
You know, yeah, I still personally like the Karakorum clips, the lever there.
No, I'm absolutely with you there. You know, you definitely get more of a cinch. There can be a bit of a small gap when you're riding.
I felt a couple times, because I'm not as skilled as you. I felt a couple times where I was like, come on, you know, where I've never felt that with the Jones Karakorum clips.
I do think it is how they're set up initially as well, and they are slightly adjustable, so you can adjust those. But just as far as easy assembling, the Karakorum still, I'd say, has the top seat as far as those clips go. But again, the way Cardiff designed these boards still sits flush. You can still get this board set up correctly.
Let's talk about the shape and the camber profile. Mainly, you know, we know it's tapered. You can see it's tapered directional. You can see kind of where the stance sits on the board. But that camber profile, it's a pretty healthy bow of camber. I think it's like, they call it 60% camber. But it felt like more camber than the Bonsai by a good bit. And sometimes camber changes from board to board because wood cures differently.
Of course.
But definitely more, though, than the Pagoda. The feel, I thought it tracked really well going uphill.
Yeah.
It had a really good spring.
Didn't have any issues. It gripped really well. You know, very springy. Just really pleasant going up. No issues, no sliding out. It was very easy going up. So even if you're new to split boarding, someone who's looking to get into it, if you're an aggressive rider, you're going to be able to pick up on the uphill with this.
You just have to be. You have to be accomplished with your downhill abilities.
Exactly.
It's not totally locked in by any means, but it feels kind of more like semi-locked in. It's kind of, I don't know what they're doing with the side cut or how this, but it just makes this board's camber profile feel like it's more than it is.
Yeah, I just felt like it just didn't want to go, it didn't want to just go straight. There was so much more to the board. Like it wanted to go play around. It wanted to do slide turns. Like it wasn't necessarily a board you wanted to point it down something straight with.
Yeah, and when you set, you could really feel more of that side cut, so it felt really more locked in than you would think you would for the camber profile.
A lot of energy, a lot of speed going too off those turns. It felt really fun.
And then side hill ability, you can speak a lot more about that than I can.
The morning tour on that really firm, hard pack snow, more or less ice. A lot of boards I've ridden up there in similar conditions, lots of sliding out. Didn't have that issue with this board. It held an edge really well. Its ability to go up and side hill was really nice. I could even do some good kick turns, tried some kick turning on some steeper stuff. Nothing really bad to say about the uphill.
No, I think it was my favorite up of all the Cardiffs.
Yeah.
And one of my favorites of all the split boards I've tried other than the Telos.
Totally.
That thing just had spring.
So yeah, let's take a look at the flex here. Show you guys kind of the middle here. I'd say it was a fairly stiff overall. We'll see what the nose looks like here. You know, about the same. And we'll take a look at the tail here too. And as you can see, you know, pretty stiff construction. It's one of those boards where you're really going to want to be active, engaging, if you're going to want to make this thing flex.
Yeah, it took a little bit of work. It was easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
For its flex, because of that early rise, and it just, for some reason, it's just a little easier to leverage on snow than you would think from looking at the flex here. So let's get into the edge hold. We kind of talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to want something that's going to be able to hold that edge on a series of diverse snow throughout your run. You know, and again, split boarding, you're not necessarily going to get a uniform, consistent snowpack all the way down. Yeah, you're going to have these patches of ice, and you're going to want a board that's going to be able to handle that diverse conditions. And yeah, Cardiff, I think, did really well in that.
And then turning, this is a hard charging, hard carving kind of turn.
Yeah. If I went in the trees, I feel like I could make those tight turns in the trees, whereas with the bonsai, didn't feel that as much. You know, it was definitely, that was a real true hard charger.
That's mellowcross.
It's a nice mediary in that sense between the Pagoda and the bonsai, where it had that tight turns in the trees, maybe not quite as tight as that Pagoda, and not as easy to ride, but then it also kind of had a little bit of that strength and dampness and power that you got from the
it was like a turny bonsai. This wanted to turn in steep technical terrain.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's where this kind of shines. And then powder, we had none.
We did not get any powder with this thing, but
spring just...
Something is tickling in my spine that says that this thing probably performs pretty well.
If it's
those hairs never stand up on their own. This board is a great fit for that person looking to charge hard, go deeper into the mountains, maybe find some steeper, more technical lines. It's going to be the tool necessary for the job.
There you have it. I'm a little more of a Pagoda guy myself. Kind of a split decision, huh?
Oh, that's just the way we like it here.
Pun intended. Pun intended.
All our reviews are a best effort, objective opinion from an average rider's perspective. There's no brand oversight, and we're free to say whatever we want. We send back everything unless it's a favorite, then we ask to keep those or straight up buy them. Now, if you need advice, fill out the eHarmony profile in the Contact Us section of the site. It's the only way I can help you properly. If you want to support us, and if what we reviewed appeals to you, it helps if you buy through our links. So, thanks for watching.